Hey everybody, I'm making a video today about how to execute a forward bend in yoga safely and, more importantly, well, equally important, effectively. Safely and effectively. So first, let's talk about just doing a little test and see where you're at in terms of how flexible your hamstrings are. So we can get you to lie down on your back. And we'll see if you can ground your one leg and lift your other leg up. And we'll start to keep your leg engaged, okay? A little bit of core, draw the belly in, and just see if your leg can come up fairly easily to 90 degrees, right? So for me, this is fairly, comfortable for me, but this is not the case for a lot of people. So realistically, a lot of people, maybe even a lot of newer people that haven't had the chance to open their bodies yet, they'll come up, and then at some certain point, there'll be some kind of resistance with your hamstring, and maybe the lower back too, the whole back joint in the body's tight, the knee will start to bend, the hamstring doesn't want to stretch anymore, something like that, right? So you can imagine that if you were doing a seated forward fold, the ability to at least come to this 90-degree angle comfortably is important, right? Otherwise, there's going to be strain in the lower back. So if this is you and you have a tighter hamstrings, tighter lower back, and it's hard for you to straighten and you can't get to 90 degrees, a little bit of extra homework would be to grab a strap, right? And then strap around the ball of your foot, ball joint, or bottom of your foot. And then you can safely now, because the lower back is supported, you can now concentrate on lengthening the back of the leg, right? So just a quick note to make sure that you're not, pressing and trying to tense the back of the knee. You want to soften the back of the knee a little bit and engage the leg, right? So a little bit of affirming through the kneecap. And also, with your arms, you don't want to over-pull. It's just a very gentle kind of pulling a little bit towards you, but also a little bit of resistance at the same time. So resisting meaning using your leg. Your leg is actually trying to press back that way as you use your strap to pull the leg towards you. Right? So for me, I think that's a little bit more of an effective way to stretch. Right? All right, so you do that for every day if you can. Ideally, consistency is important. All right, and then from there, once you feel more comfortable with this 90-degree angle, then maybe you're ready to approach a seated forward fold. So you can come on out, right? And then we'll start here with the legs get relatively straight-ish, right? All right, so what we're looking for in your forward fold is the ability to use strength in your legs to support your forward fold, right? Okay, so let's say that you're still a little bit tight in the legs, right? And what will happen is you might have a little bit of a slumping in your lower back, right? So something in the back of the body, legs and the back is pulling your pelvis backwards, right? So to get out of that, you can bend the knees a little bit and see if that helps you to kind of shift your sacrum, your pelvis forward a little bit, okay? And then from here, it's important, like I said, to use the strength of your legs. So what does that mean? So engaging your quads, like firming your knees, firming your kneecaps, firming your quads. It's like the feeling like you're trying to lift your leg off the floor, but you're not lifting the leg. So there's some energy, right? That's how I'm feeling. Also, a little bit of like internal rotation of the leg. So maybe place the hand between the knees and then just try to gently hug your knees together. Okay? So we're firming in, we're firming the quads. You're also, even with the knees bent, there's a feeling of kind of stretching the heels out and away from the butt bones, so your sit bones, right? Okay, so that's the leg part. So the feet are flexed also. So you want the feet, the toes spread to help you to awaken the feet. The feet help you to awaken the legs. So everything is connected. Okay. All right. So now to move on to add the forward fold part. Let's do a what not to do first. So one thing I really don't like to see a lot is people, when they're in a seated forward fold, using a strap. I don't personally, very rarely use straps and forward folds in a class. Right? And I'm usually a pretty prop-free girl in classes. So I'll tell you why. Because when I see students holding the strap, right? They usually tend to forget about, the legs get a little bit lazy and they get really excited about using force to kind of pull their body forward to try to get deeper into their forward fold, right? Problem with that is if you think about it, you know that you should never like pick things up from the floor with like straight legs like that, right? So everybody pretty much knows that if you say there's something really heavy, you would never like, do anything like that, picking up. Everyone knows you should bend the knees a little bit and use your core, use your legs, right? So it's the same sort of idea. When you're sitting and you're using the strap, it's like, there's a weight-bearing effect here. And it's like you're forcefully trying to pick something up from the floor, and really it's just your back working, right? And not so much your legs. Okay, so I would say let's get rid of the strap when you're working on your seated forward folds, right? And let's pretend we have that tighter body here, so you're going to bend the knees, maybe even a lot, that's okay. So what we're trying to do is think of let's pretend that you actually are not using your arms at all. How am I going to kind of deepen my forward fold? Where does the work come from, right? So it actually comes from, it's really important, the drawing back of your lower belly. Okay, so it's like we're trying to create space here. Like I'm trying to put a big dowel or rolling pin in my lap hip crease, and I'm trying to kind of pick up the rib cage. So scoop the belly in and up, and then gently squeezing the pelvic floor a little bit, lifting your pelvic contents, right? And then I'm trying to kind of pour myself over this imaginary rolling pin. And this is the energy from here that kind of initiates and kind of powers my forward fold. So actually, I don't really even need arms to forward fold, ideally. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, okay, of course, the arms, let's use them as an accessory. So how can we use them safely in a forward fold? If you have that tight body, like kind of where you're slumping, I would actually oftentimes cue people to have the hands behind them. Okay, and then from here you can give yourself a little bit of energy. So still belly is hollowing, still you're lifting the rib cage a little bit, your chest is lifted. Use your fingertips to gently press backwards so you can start to extend your chest forward. Think chest towards your toes and head in line with your spine. Okay? So for me, I think this is a much more safe way to forward fold. See how the back is relatively neutral, so we're not rounding the back, right? So again, what not to do is with a strap or not, people just overreaching for the feet or the legs and then just trying to pull with force. So again, it's like picking something heavy up off the floor and all the strain comes into the lower back. So not good, right? Sometimes it feels like it's the right thing. People are like, oh yeah, it feels like a good stretch in the lower back, but really it's not evenly distributed in the spine, right? So you want to evenly stretch the spine. So again, tighter body, fingertips behind you, and maybe sometimes a forward fold is even like this. This can be a forward fold for a lot of people. Even working at sitting up tall can be a lot of work, right? But let's just say over time, you start to be able to, straighten out the legs a little bit more, although you want always a little bit of a bend, firming the quads. And maybe you at some point feel like, okay, I'm starting to, over time, days and days, weeks, months could be of practice, I'll start to feel a little bit more lengthening, right, in the back, in the legs. And then maybe you can start to bring the hands forward now. So maybe they reach the legs at first, right? They don't quite reach their feet, right? So maybe even hands on the floor. You can kind of pull forward a little bit, so dragging the mat isometrically towards you. So you can start to bring the chest, helps you to bring the chest forward towards the toes. But over time, maybe you can eventually reach the feet. Right? So if you're here, again, the arms are an accessory. The main thing driving your back bend is the power of the belly. So the feeling of sucking the belly, pressing your hips back, okay, and maybe you're holding onto the feet now, and then very gently pulling heart forward, okay, holding like that. So that's kind of the general direction. Okay? Think of the rib cage, someone holding on the rib cage from the front, and just kind of guiding your rib cage, kind of forward, okay? So forward. Even if you're here, it's still the feeling of the rib cage coming forward. So we're always looking at what direction we want to move in and where we want to put the energy, okay? So I think that's about it for forward folds. Let me know if you have any comments, any questions. Namaste.